Hey everyone, this is Enmo here, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide. This is a game that was actually created by the guy who made the Stanley's Parable. If you haven't played it, it's really amazing. It's kind of like that one movie called Stranger Than Fiction, where there's a narrator and my dogs are barking, that kind of narrates a person's life, and the person can hear the narrator narrating his life, and it's a really interesting game. Stanley Parable, that is. And I read that the Beginner's Guide is somewhat similar to Stanley Parable, but I'm sure it has its own twist, and I haven't really done much research outside of that. But other than that, let's start the game. Drinking tea today. Make sure your audio. I really hope this isn't a horror game. The tags didn't list horror on there, so that would be nice if it's not, because I'm not prepared for it.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
You're welcome.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while
yeah.
that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
IRL?
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Okay.
Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff. And his work
I was in
pointed
college
me in a
then.
very powerful direction.
Freshman.
I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just
Your
to
screen's
start
not
you off,
broken.
this is, I think,
Ah!
the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Huh.
You can walk around here, by the way. And
Yay!
mostly it's
Space to
just
jump.
Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
Cool.
But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters
mouse got
these
caught.
colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of
I feel like I'm
commentary on the
crouching.
creator. It's
No,
like a
I'm actually
reminder that
crouching
this
now.
video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was
Ah,
going through his head as he
abstract
was
floating
building?
blocks.
This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past
I
the games
can't jump it!
themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's
Look at
exactly
that.
what we're going to do here.
Okay.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made.
Okay, I already gone through
Until suddenly
everything.
one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
That's
And
sweet.
if the people like
Very
you who
sweet.
play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in
I'm
touch,
not very good with
you can email me
interpretations.
at daveyWREDN@gmail.com.
Something at gmail.com.
Okay, that's
Oh!
about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
Alright, your
As
first
each
proper
is
game,
loaded,
Coda.
I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Huh. Very simple box. Whoa! Well, I was not expecting that. Thanks. Evacuate.
This game is called Escape
Oh
from Risk,
no, I
and
don't
it's
like
one of the more
this.
generic games you'll see from Coda.
Wait, what? Okay. Suppose I follow the white light. Ugh! This stresses me out! Just not wanting to play shooter games. Ah!
Security code breached.
Ah!
My phone inbound.
Oh. That was really scary.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Oh,
But
well,
ultimately,
thanks
we
for
don't
telling
really know.
me.
Maybe Coda thought that actually
Woo!
it was complete the way that it is. And I think
Thought
that
there
we
were
should
gonna
talk
be
about these
monsters
games
there.
for what they are,
Oh.
rather than for what they're not.
Ah.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shooting.
This is kind of cool.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this
Yeah.
game.
Whoa, okay, I can see the bottom of the universe. Alright, I'm a lot less stressed out knowing that there aren't enemies, like, waiting to jump and attack me.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it.
Yeah, yep.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has
Darkness.
this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
This is the whisper machine?
You there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's
Okay.
so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
No! No! Where am I? Alright, fine. Whee! What?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Right.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Goes into total darkness. Oh. Blah! Oh. Like, it's into outer space? Whoa. Whoa! That is
The
pretty
beam
cool.
causes you to start floating. And this is an
Very
important
linear.
moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this
Definitely
larger,
makes you
chaotic
feel really
system.
small.
Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Cool. Also November. No! The past was behind her. How do I move?
Yep.
I can...
In this game, you can only
Huh.
walk backwards.
Huh. That's cool. Very cool. But she keeps... Whoa!
So it's a
But the
short
future
and
could not be
relatively
seen.
minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced
Why does the
than
future
previous
keep
game, but actually
changing?
it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than
becomes
simply
clearer.
basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. Huh. It's pretty intense. If the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength? To confront it.
It's a
I
short
don't
little
know.
thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
Very good.
Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
2008. Ugh. You are now entering. Too much like Slender Man.
And that's it. Okay,
Oh.
the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Cliffhangers! Nonsense
Oftentimes,
in
Coda
nearly
would put
every
bizarre
direction.
titles like this one at the start of his games.
Wee,
I I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Well, now I'm just walking
Once you've been slowed
slower.
to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Alright. Play as the camera is filming an advertisement, walking around the set, whatever you like. Press a button to stop the chaos. That doesn't work. You're the queen dusting your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed. You are a gate. A series of lavish manuals come with the game, giving you incorrect instructions on how to play. A normal game where you have to scream into a mic every 15 seconds to keep playing. As a pair of floating eyes emitting forward step noises.
He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Stranger appears. You run inside your shop. You run a shop inside your own body, selling your organs, strategically making the most money out of it. Didn't get to read everything. Ready, set, fish. What? What am I fishing for? The question. The games are really philosophical.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay. Oh, no. I'm scared! There's like dark fog. I just want to see if I'm moving, otherwise I'll be walking into pitch nothingness. Is it solvable? Not sure if I'm dumb or if this is on purpose. Still trying to figure this out. The music is quite serene. Is there another, like... Haha! Can I... Well, now I'm trapped!
Don't forget that.
There you go.
We're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Alright, so this is 3 dots. Not sure if I'm gonna have to remember that. Luckily that didn't take me nearly as long to figure out as I thought it might have.
So that seems to be it, right?
Right?
You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
The door closes.
Now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
All the walls. Whoa! Huh, whoa! Look, these are all the freaking rooms?
There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
I can't jump off.
I find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Beautiful. I wonder if all of these are playable.
Is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
To play? Oh man! So I am now entering. Is there gonna be a... You are now exiting.
Aha. So
yep.
This, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in. Some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
I'm not very good at these insightful things, and hopefully he'll tell us what it's all about. The Great and Lovely Descent. I'll probably try to play all of this. Oh, I remember seeing this before. Maybe. I'll try and play all this in one sitting,
Let's
just
talk about
because
video game development for a
I
second.
don't want to kind
Every video
of
game
break
runs
up
on
the
what's called an engine, which
feel
determines
about
what
it.
the game can and cannot
the
do.
bar.
So in other words, the engine
Fool.
is a set of tools for game
The
development.
Structwise?
To make all of these games,
Structwise
Coda is using
full.
an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Whoa. That's cool.
The tools
Platform
available to
game.
the creator
Oh, no.
shape what kinds of creative work they're gonna end up.
Can I fall?
You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Yes, very linear and boxy. I don't know much about game development. I am not an engineer myself. So if you guys have any cool facts to tell me, I'd love to learn. Or, not more so an engineer, but I'm not very much of a computer science-y coder type of person. I'm wondering if I can fall off the platform. Should I give it a shot? Woo! Descent into nothingness. Oh, well that was just a shortcut then. I can't fall off the stairs. That has a well, it has a little invisible mirror thing, window thing where I can't fall past it. Am I looking at some horses? I wonder if the game, you know, give me. Keep thinking some sort of monster is gonna pop out, and getting, like, somewhat
prison,
stressed,
funny enough,
freaked out.
in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Whoa.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yes, thank you. Oh!
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me.
Mildly
Every single
infuriating.
one of those, just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
That sucks. It's beautifully designed,
It's the
though.
puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that
Right.
Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Can't you just ask him? Ah. I'm just trying to see if there's... Listen, listen, listen. Speak! You there, did you come from above? What was up there?
That he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there is a world stamped with lightness. Yes, there is an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there are the floating blocks. Floating blocks! That's the world above. You've been there. Now, this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches. Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through these puzzles. I prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. Yes! Not like it's a big deal. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. 3. Oh no, but I do, we do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there's nothing I want more. But this is the prison. Ah! The grass is greener on the other side. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, I've been right here the entire time. Oh, no, no, no! We find the black space between the doors far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the space between the doors? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. I don't recall a space between the doors. I did feel very strange there. I was kind of scared. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. Oh. Good to know. I wonder if, I guess, choosing what I say changes the outcome of the game.
We make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Eep! 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 Eh. Like a schoolyard.
It's a lamppost.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Wow.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point.
Oops, sorry.
To be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them.
Oh.
And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Well, hopefully I'll catch on to it, because I'm not very good at catching on to these things.